All right, Honey and Bandit. Honey and Bandit. Where did you guys grow up? Where are you from originally?
Originally, York, PA.
I'm from Dallas, Texas.
You're from Dallas.
Yeah.
And tell me about your families. Honey, you had mom and dad?
Mom and dad separated before I turned 1, and then they had their significant others, and that's just pretty much how it's been my whole life.
How would you describe your childhood in general?
Childhood wasn't bad. It was really interesting, actually. My dad always tried to get me involved in sports and stuff like that. My mom tried to put me in a dress when she came back around. It was just always into something, always playing games, always outside, just always hanging out. My dad was actually my best friend growing up, funny enough. And then the older I got, we kind of grew apart. But yeah, my mom, she was in and out of my life a lot, but when she's there, she's very supportive and she helps when she can. But it's, they're interesting people.
Why was your mom in and out of your life?
Mainly, she had a lot of herself stuff going on. When she came back, it was great. I actually moved in with her for a while. And then she went to school, and she has a learning disability. So she went to the special school, and she had to stay there. So I was about 14, 15 when she had to leave again. And it really broke my heart. And I held a lot of resentment for it because at the time I was so young. I didn't really understand it. But, I get it now. You do what you have to do. And she was just trying to better herself. So, she was doing her thing, I guess.
And Bandit? Your parents?
Divorced when I was 5 years old. Father was super bad alcoholic, abusive physically. Pretty much taught me how to raise my kids because, I just learned how not to raise my kids, so pretty much I do everything the opposite of how he did. I'm really supportive of him. He was a pretty good dad, honestly. Beside the bad stuff, he tried to support as best as he could, whatever, I wanted to get into. I skateboarded most of my life and surfed and stuff, and he was always tried to get me into real sports or whatever, but he still supported it. And my mom is super narcissistic. She just, I love her to death. I do. She's a great woman, but she is just her biggest fan. And it's hard to deal with, especially from somebody who self-loathes themselves as much as I do. Dealing with that is kind of hard,
Very different personality.
Yeah, it's night and day different.
Yeah. And how did you guys first get introduced to drugs, hard drugs?
Hard, about 16, and really it was my self-interest. I was just kind of curious, so the whole cat, what was it?
Curiosity killed the cat.
That one, yeah. Funny enough, actually I read about it a lot, and that's what really piqued my interest. Because my parents, none of them were alcoholics or drugs or any of that. So it was really my self-interest. And the people that I found myself around, I pretty much told them hey, it's either I'm going to do it with you or I'm going to do it with somebody else. And I call them my brothers. But I'm the only child. So they were man, you pulled that line on us, really? And I was what? And they're that's what we said to each other. And I was oh, all right. So yeah, heroin was the first thing I really got into. And I went right to IV. I actually didn't nose or ate or none of that stuff, straight IV. And
yeah, she went straight hard in the paint. It's such a crazy story.
it was because I went to this party when I was younger, and they told me it was Vicodin and Percocet and stuff like that. And I blew them. And when I did it, all the blood vessels in my face broke and in my eyes. And yeah, I don't know what happened other than a reaction or something. And ever since then, I was nothing's ever going to my nose again. So right to IV. And then from 16 to 27, I've only had about a year of sobriety. So
So rather than trying to hide some childhood trauma, it sounds like maybe you just got addicted to a drug.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like nowadays, I mean, like I've had bad stuff happen to me in my life. It's not a victim thing for drugs. For me, it's, you know, I do enjoy the rush. I do like getting high. But if I could get clean, if I had insurance, if I had somebody there that's like, hey, you know, it's all right, the detox, you know, and the detox is the big thing, you know, going through all that pain and just, I have seizures and it's just, it's the detox. It really is. I mean, it sucks. And I've been through it multiple times. I can't kick it. You know, I've tried without anything. I've tried without methadone, Suboxone. I've tried on Suboxone and methadone, and it's just nothing really. It's the pain, like the physical pain, you know? It just didn't do it for me. So I just kept going back. It's what I knew.
How old are you now?
27.
27. And Bandit, how old are you?
I'm 36.
36. And you first got introduced to harder drugs when?
Well, I jokingly say it all the time to Honey that heroin saved my life. In the sense of I was a really bad alcoholic and I actually had cirrhosis by the time I was like 25. And then I switched it up. And I'd had bouts of it, like from being a kid, like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, like around there. I had done like you know, opiates and coke and all that shit. And then I was actually off of it for like 12 years, and almost 12 years. And then, but I drank like heavily that whole 12 years again. And same thing, I ended up, you know, my liver started crapping out on me again. And so I went back to what I knew, you know, and then I started getting high again. And it's the same thing. It's not like I'm, you know, not blaming like my childhood or anything on it. That's not the case. It's just, I don't know any other way of living. Like sober living is not my thing. The only time I've ever been sober is whenever I've been to like prison. I mean, that's just not enjoyable. So I think like that, maybe that's the reason why I keep going so hard with it, is because I think like just being so like in that state of sobriety, like it just reminds me of all that. And I'm just like, I'd rather just not think about it.
So both of you are currently using fentanyl?
Yeah. Amongst others.
Amongst others too?
Yeah.
What other drugs are you playing around with?
What do you got?
Trash can.
Yeah.
How long have you stayed in Kensington?
We've only been here for like a couple months, actually.
Yeah.
So, not too long.
What do you think of it?
It's fucking crazy out here.
It's a crazy city.
It's really crazy. It's like, you know, it's a lot like Skid Row, you know, but it is predominantly white.
So you've stayed on Skid Row before?
Yeah, and it's I mean, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's very similar to Skid Row, just mostly white people, whereas Skid Row
whereas Skid Row is
90%
predominantly black. Yeah.
We joke around a lot though, because we say, you know, like Philly's so dirty and stuff like that. But we're always like, you know, it's because it's so dirty. We love it though, because it's so dirty.
Yeah, I mean,
is there something about this lifestyle that works for you, that resonates with you, that you feel like you fit in here or something?
not really for me. I mean, I know
you don't
that
get looked at like as crazily, like hometowns, like small towns, like people are like, doing one of those.
They'll break their neck looking at some guy with his face tattooed, and because it's, you know, it's smaller areas, it's just not that common. But here, it's like, you know,
There's like 15-year-olds with face tattoos. You know, I went into the store the other day and I don't have my ID, and I tried to buy a pack of cigarettes, and the lady was asking me for it, and I was like, really? I was like, I got face tattoos, and she's like, you know, honey, you know, there's 15-year-olds with face tattoos. I was like, oh, got a point.
Yeah, Philly's a crazy city. I love it for that. I call it the Northern LA. Like, that's just been my thing for like a while now. It just feels like that.
Because you do have like the poshy parts, you know.
You traveled around, Bandit?
Yeah.
What other cities have you been to?
Dallas, LA, Seattle, like West Palm, Florida, Orlando. I mean, I've been all up and down the U.S. So
You like it here?
It oddly enough feels like home.
He wanted to get out of Florida so bad. I was like, well, I'm from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I'd never been, so I was like, yeah, let's do it.
We actually met in Florida at his shop.
Where do you stay when you're in Kensington?
Out by like Opal.
Yeah, we live off of Opal
Yeah.
right now, Opal Street.
So you have an apartment, or you have?
No, we're just crashing at somebody's pad.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't actually have a place right now.
Right.
Like I lost everything.
Yeah. When I first brought him to Philly, we had a car, and then we went to Center City or something like that.
Yeah, we spent the night in a hotel and it got stolen.
Yep.
So that's fun.
Came out and was like, all right. So I guess feet is where it's gonna be. Walking and public transportation.
Is it easier or harder as a couple to be out here homeless?
I think it's easier.
Yeah, because you got one another. Really? I mean, if I have something that's like the last, I'll split it with him, or I'll give it to him. Or if I only have like 2 left, I'll give him one if he's not feeling good. And he does the same for me.
Yeah.
I mean, we do say, it's only drugs, but at the end of the day, like, we do need it, like, to function properly,
Yeah, I mean, because without it, it's bad.
It's really bad. Like, you
pretty much, you just sit in a ball.
Explain to us what it's like to
Or like the detox.
or just not
or
have
to
what
be
you-
dope sick.
not have what you need.
Well, you want to move because your body is like,
It's constantly moving. You're shaking. You're sweating.
you're restless, but like you have no energy, like no energy, and
Violently throwing up, pooping everywhere.
and then you get this awful sharp tongue. Like, well, if you're like us,
Yeah.
we get into it. We
Yeah.
really do. I mean, like, it's not
we
like
got razor blades on our mouths. Like,
I mean, it's not physical, but we do got razor blade tongues, and we do get into it. But at the
yeah,
end,
like we'll hurt each other's feelings.
really bad.
But we also know at the end of the day that it is what it is. And as soon as, I mean, 99 times out of 100, if I see that she's hurt by something that I said, I immediately backpedal and I'll tell her, I'm sorry. Because she's my best friend, she's my second half. She's my one and only. I don't want to hurt this person. She's my person.
My person, my favorite human.
Absolutely.
You guys have been together how long?
Like a little over 2.5 years now. Yeah, I got out of a really rough marriage. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to get married again, but I met her and
Do either of you have children?
yeah.
I don't have any. I can't actually have children.
Oh, you can't.
No, and I was told at a younger age that I couldn't. But when I told my parents, they're like, "Oh, it's the drug use. It's the drug use." And I was like, "Well, that's kind of funny because when I was younger and I was going to OBGYN, I just I first got my period. They do all that stuff on you and everything, and they told me I couldn't have kids. So I don't really know the reason why. I mean, at this point, I probably think drugs definitely have something to do with it.
Yeah, but it's deeper than that. I'm pretty sure she has endometriosis. I grew up with a sister who has it, and she has a lot of the same symptoms.
I mean, there's days I can't
dead,
move.
day for day, spot on for spot on. It's the same exact thing that my sister's gone through. So.
And then when we were down in Florida, I ended up having a miscarriage, and it really hit home, really hard. And I blame myself, especially when you're told it can't happen, and then it does, and then you lose it. You feel responsible.
Do you think that was because of drugs?
It probably had something to do with it, for sure. I mean, it didn't help, definitely, but yeah, it definitely didn't help, and it sucks.
If you got pregnant again, would that be motivation enough to stop using?
I mean, if somebody told me today, you know, hey, I will get you into a facility and, you know, we'll make sure that, you know, you're not in pain, we'll help you come off of it and everything, sign me up.
Yeah, I'd do it in
Where?
a heartbeat.
You know, and tell me I don't have a $100,000 debt after it, you know?
Yeah,
But
I would do it in a heartbeat too.
absolutely. Absolutely.
But trying to come off these drugs by yourself,
It's horrible. And especially, I mean, even if you're with somebody or you're alone, it sucks. And all like the recovery stuff, you're not alone, you feel alone.
yeah, no, they say you're not alone, but you're fucking alone. People look at you different. They hear that you jam needles in your arms, and they're just like, "Oh, you're one of those people." It's like, you know, fuck you, Jack. Like, first off.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't even get in my feelings about it anymore.
What do you think most people that are not in this lifestyle don't understand about drug addiction?
Once you're on it, to come off.
Yeah.
To come off is the big thing. It definitely fucks with your mental a lot, you know, because you start thinking like, you know, like the shoulda, woulda, couldas, like if I didn't do it, or like if I could get off of it, or like how differently your life would be if you never even ran into it, you know. But as far as like, you know, what you have to do to get them, it changes every day.
Yeah.
You know, it's not always the whole prostitution and stuff like that. It's really like what you can do. Like, I was joking about it the other day actually with a friend, and I said people find like their own finesse. Like you find like your own groove really of like what works for you and what doesn't, and you try everything. You do.
She's a lot nicer than I am, because I'll rob, steal, and cheat. I don't give a fuck about people anymore. I just don't. I mean, I try to be nice to people, but after a while, you just stop caring.
And really, people are assholes to you anyways. Like, we're not like, but to people that use drugs.
Is it pretty much just every man for himself out there on the streets?
In Kensington? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, what?
Yesterday we seen it. This guy, he was out.
Oh yeah. And this dude was homeless, man. And these crackheads like went up and stole all of his shit. And they tried to wake him up,
And he didn't wake
like
up.
3 or 4 times. And the guy kept going back out, and they were like, "Well, fuck him." And they just went and took like all of his food, all of his clothes, everything. And I was just like, this is fucked up out here. Like,
Just rummaging through all of his stuff.
like it's exactly like Skid Row. It's totally like every dog for themselves.
What kind of emotions do you guys go through?
Oh, it's up and down. Up and down. One minute you're just there, you're just here, you're just existing.
We're generally pretty happy though.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of a miracle, really. But
Are there some benefits to this lifestyle?
no, not really.
Lack of responsibility. You don't have to get up for work tomorrow. You don't have to.
But you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's you.
I
you
might not
might
have a 9 to 5, but I do have to work.
I mean,
What does your typical day look like?
It changes from day to day. I mean, you could be stealing one day. The next day, you could hit $500 on a scratch off.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or scam somebody out of their fucking credit card funds, whatever. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just if somebody's dumb enough to give it to you, then that's their problem. It's sad to be like that, and I know that, but after a while,
and it happens to you over and over too.
it becomes so regular that you just get jaded, and it's just you don't have any qualms or quarrels about it anymore, because you know that the next guy down the line, would do it to you.
Yeah.
Period.
What are you afraid of? What do you worry about?
That my kids are gonna turn out like me. That's my biggest fear. I have a great relationship with them. Like unfortunately they're down in Florida with my ex-wife, but
Does your son know you're a drug addict?
no. My oldest, he's got an idea, but he hasn't he doesn't have confirmation of that. And actually, I was just talking to him this morning. I mean, so we keep in pretty close contact.
Those little ones so cute.
Beans.
Yeah.
He looked like a buddy of mine that passed away. His nickname was Beans, so I nicknamed my son Beans after my buddy that passed. So.
And now especially because he had to get glasses, so he looks like just like
Oh,
you.
he's just like me. Yeah.
Just like him.
That poor kid.
What do you mean, poor kid?
Do you think that anything about your personalities have changed from living this lifestyle?
Probably just hardened a little bit.
A little rough around the edges.
But I mean, otherwise, like, we usually have smiles on our faces
Yeah.
most days.
Where I'm kicking him in the ass to get him to smile.
Yeah, I go through it sometimes from not seeing my kids, but she's there for me to pick me up. And
We're there for each other. We gotta be. Nobody else is gonna be. Nobody else is gonna be there for me when my head's down. He is.
If you had your lives to live all over again, what would you have done differently?
nothing.
Nothing.
Not a damn thing.
I don't regret it. I don't regret a thing.
I would have probably got cleaner a little bit sooner, but otherwise, really, I can't even say that because I'm who I am right now because of everything. And if I wasn't who I am and she wasn't who she was, then maybe you wouldn't have approached us, so.
Yeah. Hey. Ba-da-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Do you have friends out here?
Yeah.
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 Like real friends or just
I'd say probably 2.
street acquaintances?
I would say they're more acquaintances, but I mean, they've shown us a lot of love.
A lot.
Like a lot more than what most people that I've known for years and years and years have.
There are some good-hearted people out here.
There really is.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
It's insanity. Like,
I mean, we ran into him because of, doing drugs.
yeah.
But it turned into, I mean, like, we still have, like, we still realize, like, the line between, business and friendship,
Right.
But definitely they showed us a little bit more to their side. And,
They're a lot warmer
yeah. They are.
than what I expected, for sure.
Yeah.
How do you guys support yourself financially?
However we can.
However, really,
It's hard to put a label on it because whenever you get money from so many different things,
yeah.
and there's not really one thing that you can definitively say.
Honey, do you ever get pressured to do sexual favors and things like that?
No, I'll kill somebody.
It's happened.
I'll fucking kill somebody.
It's happened. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that it hasn't, But as of like today to now, it's not what I have to do,
Yeah, it's not going to be what she has to do.
We'll figure something different.
What would you say is the most important lesson you guys have learned? Honey?
That the DARE program did not work.
Not even in the
It
slightest.
did not work.
No. We all let him down.
Saying no to drugs doesn't work.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You can only say no so many times until you say yes. So.
True. Yeah.
That's terrible.
It is. But I really don't know.
Kensington is really just a very, very treacherous little community, isn't it?
Oh, it's so weird.
Tell me
is.
about staying on Kensington. Or is it in Kensington or on Kensington?
I guess it's on Kensington,
McPherson
really.
Square.
McPherson Square is that park.
That's like the epicenter.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Needle Park.
Needle Park.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
And,
what it's labeled.
I mean, it's like,
And then all around it too. It's
It's
not
like-
just the park. It's everything around the
I mean,
park.
blocks and blocks and
For-
blocks
for
of
a
the
mile or
city.
two,
Yeah. like,
Yeah,
I
every
mean,
direction.
You can just, I mean, even like where we live, we're out right now. We're like, what, 2.5, 3 miles out.
It's like out by Temple,
And everybody's still, you hear the dope dealers like,
calling it out.
yeah, like calling out their stamps or whatever. And I'm like, holy shit. Like,
Yes, it's the entire community seems to revolve around drugs.
yeah.
And it's not just a few blocks.
It's not just,
No.
no, it's like a huge part
everywhere.
of the city.
Yeah, every
And the
part.
cops, like they control it. They're the ones who are letting the shit in. They're the ones who control everything, and they act like,
It seems to spread out for miles in every direction.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you're gonna sit here and tell me that you're doing everything you can for this city when you're the ones making the bus, you're the ones making it possible for these things to be on the street, you're the ones letting these people go, you're the ones taking them in.
What do you wish the city would do?
Just legalize the shit already. Get it over with. It's such a problem already, and all it's doing is just becoming more of a problem. Regulate it.
Yeah.
You know, get it done. You know, they do what they can. They have the needle exchange and all that stuff, and that's great.
Yeah, they do. Down
Like,
by McPherson, they have it's a church, and you can get like
they give you like a whole
clean
kit.
rigs.
Like the only thing they don't give you is the drugs.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They have showers, they have bathrooms, they have, I mean, and there's people down there that haven't showered in 6 months, and they go to the bathroom on the streets, and it's like, why, dude? Like, they have showers. Like,
Yeah, it's all right there.
it's all right there. Just it's right there. Just walk a couple paces, you know? I mean, you don't have to use dirty rigs. They give you free ones. I mean, if you have dirty ones, you don't need to leave them on the street. You can bring them in. It's an exchange.
Do you think
know?
some of these people just seem to have a death wish?
Yeah, for sure.
Probably, but I can't speak for them, you know? But I mean,
I don't know. We've seen that one dude on PCP stripping down naked and pissing in the street.
that was strange.
That guy, he was
was a
having
bit
a
weird.
grand old time. He was like, his dick in his hand and everything, just pissing in the air.
But I've heard stories about like certain dealers that will have a batch of fentanyl that's particularly strong, or which would make it more dangerous, and people will just hunt him down to get it.
Yeah, I don't doubt
It's
it.
almost like they're trying to kill themselves.
I don't doubt it. I mean, I
don't know if it's them trying to kill themselves or if they're just so tired of the junk.
yeah, there's a bunch of shitty dope around the city.
Like-
so, I mean,
What is trank?
trank? It's actually elephant tranquilizer.
And if
that's what
you
they're-
miss,
that's
you'll
what
get
they're-
nasty abscesses.
Yeah, I got one on my hand right now.
I have one on my foot. It's gross.
I got one on my foot too.
It's gross. It's really
It's
gross.
like, it's to the bone.
yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
But yeah, they mix down the fentanyl with elephant tranquilizer because it just drops you down and does what it's supposed to do. It gets you hooked. Yeah. And that's what actually makes the come down even worse is the trank. I mean, the fentanyl's bad enough, but the trank just gets you so sick. You start hallucinating whenever you're coming off of it.
So it doesn't really get you high; it just puts you out.
I mean, it gets you high. But,
yeah, it gets you high. You feel the rush and everything. Like,
but it puts you down, yeah, and it just makes it stronger, and it makes it harder to get off of it.
Yeah. Like if I do a shot or something, like I'll hit my neck, and as soon as I do it, I can feel it in the back of my throat. Yeah. Like it's like a cool rush and like hit in my throat.
That's like where we're both at now. We don't have any other veins anymore.
I can't go anywhere else.
All we have is the carotid and the jugular to hit.
Yeah, and I can't go on my sides.
Mine's all fucked up now. It's hard.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Your veins will start to harden. Like, and even if you do, or like if you do coke, if you IV coke, it'll harden your veins. And like my arms are like. They went down, but they get swollen.
Mine are disgusting right now.
Yeah, they get numb, and I had a hair tie on, and I fell asleep with it the other night, and I woke up and my arm was like killing me, and I took it off, and I had this like
the line.
It made my arm look all fat and weird. It was gross. Yeah.
It's crazy.
For sure.
Would you guys describe yourselves as happy?
Absolutely.
Most of the time.
I mean, I go through my depressive issues, but I mean, that's strictly on my own. I have like PTSD, man, from like being in prison and being shot at and shit like that. So.
And I just never dealt with my trauma, really. I just put it in a box and shove it to the back of my head, and every once in a while it comes up, but.
She's doing better with it. She is. Since she's met me, I've dug a lot of crap out of there.
Yeah, you have.
She's doing good. She's doing a lot better now.
A lot more.
She's turned from some hard nose to more softer, to more of a softer human. And in turn, she's done the same with me. I was really shut out emotionally for a long time, and she warmed it up. You know, it's amazing what the right person can do for you.
I always tell them, you can tell me anything. I'll never judge you. I'll never judge you for anything.
It's true.
And I don't. I mean, how am I going to judge my best friend? The person that picks me up, the person that listens to all my bullshit, you know? Just can't. Can't, won't.
I judge you all the time.
Fuck you.
All right, Honey and Bandit, thank you so much for sharing your stories.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
I wish you guys the best of luck out there.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
Be
so
careful.
much.
Thank you.